Here we go. Hello, everyone. We are live for Wavemakers Wednesday, and today I have got Ray. Ray, welcome to this live, and yeah, it's great to have you here. Ray, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
So I'm Ray, and I'm the co-owner of a business called Lifestyle Awnings, and we specialize in creating extra outdoor space for homeowners through the addition of a patio roof or what is commonly referred to as an awning. And yeah, it just creates a lovely covered space at your home to enjoy with your family. So that's what Lifestyle Awnings specializes in.
And you are based in Cape Town area.
Yeah, so we're a local business and we do the Cape Town and Winelands area is
Okay.
our area that we work in.
Cape Town and Winelands. Welcome, everyone. If you are watching, just say hi and say where you're watching from. Today, I'm talking to Ray on our Wavemaker Wednesday. And I am going to tell you a little bit about Ray's social media that we really like. So, Michaela and I always go through the social media and then we give our listeners tips from there. So, Ray, tell me about your business. Is this a family business that you started, and why specifically awnings? Awnings is it's a difficult word for Afrikaans person to say. Awning?
Yeah, it is all, yeah, awning. Yeah,
Awning.
it is a difficult, a stoop duck
A
is,
soup duck. Okay.
yeah, I suppose
That's
is what
yeah.
there's number.
So
It's one of those words that has a number of words that could be used for the same thing.
I
So
really like stoop duck. So that really sounds to me like a lekker kuierplek buite op die stoep, and like you're saying, extra space, but making your
yeah.
home actually a little bit bigger. So
But I
why?
think that's the beautiful thing about Afrikaans is it is very descriptive. I mean, a
Mm,
stoep duck
very
is
true.
tells you where an awning like doesn't tell you what it is, but a stoep duck tells you exactly what it is.
Exactly what it is. You can almost like feel it.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, we're a family business, and the business was in fact started by my dad. Gosh, probably about 15 years ago. So my dad came to live with us in Cape Town because things were a bit difficult for them, and he needed to find something to do. And one of his friends in Joburg was selling awnings, and so he said to him, well, why don't you try, I'll tell my company about you. And so he did, and he started to sell awnings, and then he became friendly with the installer. And in fact, one of their clients said to them, but you guys do this so well, why don't you start your own business? Because it's a
Wow.
Joburg based business. Well, somebody's revving their car like crazy outside there. It's a Joburg based business. Why don't you start your own business here in Cape Town, and I'll help
Mhm.
you get started. So that's what they did. They started,
Okay.
and at the time it was called Dan Neil Awnings because my dad's name is Neil and his partner was Dan. So they called it
Okay.
Dan Neil Awnings. And then at the time I was working in corporate for Nestle, also on promotions and things like that, but very different type of
Hmm.
company or products. And then my husband was also in corporate and he didn't like the business that he was working for, their ethics and that it didn't match up with ours.
Hmm.
So then my dad said, well, why don't you come and work for me and you sell awnings for us, which he did.
Oh.
And then my dad's partner decided he wanted to go up to Joburg and start a branch in Joburg. And my dad is a huge visionary and loves the conceptualizing and starting of businesses, but not necessarily the maintenance and the hard work and the stuff.
Yes.
So he said, look, I'm not really interested in continuing this. I want to get on to other stuff. Do you want to take over the business? So
Hmm.
yeah, so that's how my husband and I took over the business. And it's 15 years old. We've been doing it for probably 12 years now. Um, I only came into the business about 5 or 6 years ago doing the marketing. Because,
Okay.
we come from old school marketing where you did, brochures and expos and things like
Mm,
that. So social media wasn't a something that featured for a long time in our business.
mm.
And then those things are very frustrating because you can't get any measure on them. You don't
Yeah.
know how they measure, like an ad in a magazine or a brochure or an ad in a one of those pamphlets that gets dropped at your home. You can't
Mm,
measure. So
mm.
yeah, so then I said, okay, well, I have a slight background in marketing. Let me think about
And
how I
then you
can help.
started. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Ray, it's very interesting that you actually took on this social media, especially because you say traditionally you didn't do it. So, what was your journey like? You know, first of all, realizing maybe you should look into social media and also the whole social media journey. I think people sometimes have got a misconception of what social media is and the whole purpose of it. So take us through a little bit your journey of deciding to start use social media and um yeah, just how you found that.
So I'm not exactly how sure how the decision came, but because I'm also quite forward thinking and love new challenges and ideas and trying out new things, I started to just look at all the free stuff that's out there and learn little bits here and little bits there, and then realize, okay, but I can't do this off my personal page. I have to create a business page. And okay, let's create a business page. So that's what we did. And then I learned something else from somewhere else, and then I implemented that, and so on. So with the result, it was quite a hodgepodge of stuff in the end, because there wasn't a firm process. Do you know what I mean? So you learn a bit, you do it. You learn a bit, you do it. And I did lots of stuff and learned about that, and then started to realize, hang on, the free stuff only gives you so much. It
Mm,
doesn't, like, they only give you little snippets to kind of draw you in. But luckily, there are lots of people giving you different snippets. So if you're prepared to like sift through, you can eventually find some form in your marketing. And
mm,
then I realized, no, look, this is a bigger animal than just these little bits. I need to do this properly, because once you start getting it done correctly, it just gives you much better results. Okay, so of course you start with the boost ads, because Facebook throws them at you.
mm,
It puts it in front of you, and you go, okay, this is great, and you start to get some traction on that, and then you go, but hang
mm,
on, there's something better than this. Let me find out about that. And so that's when I stumbled across you, probably also through one of your ads or something free or something like that. And then I thought, okay, no, now I need to do this properly and put in
mm,
the right structures. And that's really helpful. Once you've put in the right structures, just so
mm,
many doors open for you, and it just becomes, when I say doors open for you, more opportunity to promote or
mm.
advertise and so on in a more structured way, and so
Yeah.
yeah, so then had to retrospectively go back and clean up a whole lot of stuff, which I must say, it's much easier to do it from the beginning than to retrospectively try and figure out what did you do and what passwords that thing on, and is this connected to that, and so on. But slowly kind of untangled the web, and now, yeah, running, um, more
Yeah,
from a structure.
that's amazing. And I think for people out there watching, I think it's just, just to get started, it feels like it's such a difficult, complicated thing. Whereas if we think about it, business is difficult, business is complicated. And in business, there are many things we have to do that we not necessarily want to do. And once we understand that social media is just one of those little parts of being an entrepreneur, and we take responsibility for that, then it actually becomes quite enjoyable. And I want to get to that because I have to say, your posts are very your posts are really fun to look at. I love the way you bring some personal elements in your post. What tips do you have for other entrepreneurs with regards to that?
So for me, it's about having a fundamental understanding of your product, okay, and what you want to achieve with your product. So obviously we're a lifestyle product, so I need to incorporate some form of lifestyle into my marketing, because that's what I'm selling you, is I'm selling you an outdoor lifestyle opportunity. So the way I do it is I work in a block of 9. So I create 9 styles of posts I want to do. So one will be a product, one will be a lifestyle, one will be a testimonial, so I create, so when I want to do my posts, I say, okay, I'm going to create like 9. And the reason I use 9 is because of the Instagram grid, okay, which is not such a big thing as it was, but so that's just where I started. So, or you could go, Monday is memory day, Tuesday is testimonial day, Wednesday is, behind the scenes day, or whatever. So I create a kind of a grid, and then I look at what images I have on hand, because I like to use new images. So I get my images obviously from my installers as they install. So those are generally quite cold because they haven't got furniture or anything underneath. That's more product related. Then I get images from my clients who now have put their furniture there, and they, you could see it's a lovely living space. Or my poor family is subjected to, whenever they sit on the stoop, they have their photo taken.
I have
So,
the photo taken,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So because then I can really get the lifestyle pictures that I
Yes.
want. So we are blessed with a little grandbaby, so he features a bit in our marketing as well, because babies and dogs always seem to draw people's attention. And he just gets cuter and cuter because he's now walking and
Aw.
starting to talk. So he becomes quite a, so that's how, so for me, I needed to fundamentally understand my product and what am I selling, okay, and
Mm,
what pain point am I resolving for somebody. I
mm,
take my marketing and I match it up to those things. And then in terms of the captions and stuff, I'm a caption capturer, in that wherever I see anything that I think I could use, I write it down or copy it. And then when I'm doing my posts, I go and look for copy that somebody else has already used, but then I make
mm.
it for myself,
For
because I'm not
yourself.
a copywriter, but I go and use, and get
Yeah.
concepts and ideas and words. And obviously now with the new chat thing,
Yeah.
you could use that. But again, you can't use it until you fundamentally understand your product and what you're trying to do with it.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
if you don't know that, you can't input the right information for it to give you back. So yeah, it's trial and error, and and interesting. You need to find some of the things that really capture people. And if I use the word braai, I know it's going to be a good post, because South Africans are just braai
Yeah.
for stuff,
Yeah.
so immediately it captures both my male and my female audience. And South Africans want to braai, and if I can sell them a concept or an idea where you can braai 365 days, 24/7. I mean, it's a win-win situation. So, but I also have to be, you don't want to overuse that. You got to
Yeah.
kind of play it. So, yeah, bride, babies, and dogs. Go figure.
Very interesting. So,
Yeah.
Ray, I love how you, because I think many people struggle with this. I love how you take what you do and look beyond that. Like, it's not just a roof, it is you are creating a lifestyle, and understanding your audience. I find that most entrepreneurs, we're so stuck into that first layer of this is what we do, but we forget about that experience. And I think that's what social media came to teach us, is that, it's more than just your product. You are selling an experience, you're selling a lifetime of memories, you're selling the opportunity to braai with your friends, and how you tapped into that. And I think for people listening, that is really one of the most important things about social media, is to really go beyond just your product. Now, I want to go back to you as an entrepreneur. Now, many people out there wants to become an entrepreneur or wish they were one. I was actually talking to my friend the other day, and she said, I want to, let go of my boss. I want to find my boss and I want to start my own business. What tips do you have for people who want to become an entrepreneur? Maybe they're new at it. Maybe it's people that worked in corporate and they want to start a business. What tips do you have for them?
So yesterday I was driving home, and I think I was on Alice here, and they had a whole lot of quotes from, I think it was Hippocrates, the guy that wrote the medical oath. Anyway, and one of them was, your love and interests, where they meet with people's needs, is where your business is. So your skills, your love and interests, and then you find, and the need that people have, you put the two together, and where those two meet is where there's a business opportunity. And I thought, isn't that just such a great explanation of what entrepreneurship is? Because we have a passion, an idea, a concept, a product, and a skill, but unless there's a need for it, and sometimes you have to create the need, or identify the need, or indicate to people that they actually have this need. They never knew they had this need. And that's where the business opportunity is. So, yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, something else I read, it said, business is simple, but never easy.
Yeah, very true. So I've got this one mentor that always says, entrepreneurship is hard, but working for a boss is also hard. So, either way, it's going to be
So it's
a
about
challenge.
choosing which hard you want to do,
Exactly.
I mean, so again, it comes down to having a very clear idea and vision, okay? And yes, there's opportunity to trial, to start. So if you've got an idea or vision, you don't necessarily just jump straight into a business. You can stick your toe into it by doing maybe some, I wouldn't say marketing, but research, even if it's on your own private, your personal Facebook page, just going, hey guys, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? Or would this be something that would interest you? So Facebook is also a great market research tool, as well as a marketing tool. So you could, kind of test the water and see if it's something that there's an interest for, an opportunity for, or, and sometimes very often I use groups. In fact, I use groups every week. I post into groups. And they're a great opportunity to test a concept, or an idea, and just see what response there is. Is there, because there's no
Absolutely.
point in creating I'm just trying to think of them like an underwater speed cop outfit if nobody wants to be an underwater speed cop. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
It's
so
so true.
it could be something that you think is a brilliant idea, but it also depends on how you want to scale it. So if you only need 5 people to buy it, well, then you've possibly got an opportunity to sell it. But if you need 50 people every month to buy it, you need to figure out, are there 50 people who are going to buy it? So for instance, in our business where we sell to homeowners, okay, so I went, okay, let's say there's 1 million homeowners in Cape Town who are suitable
buyers,
buyers, okay, so, and I need 20 of them to buy from me each month. Do the numbers work? Yes. Well, if I only need 20 and I've got an opportunity to sell to 1 million, then, but if there were only 21 people who possibly, and I need 20 people each month, the numbers don't work. So you've got to kind of figure out the numbers. And obviously, do I know that there are 1 million houses? No, I don't. But I'm saying if there are 5 million people who live in Cape Town, and a lot of people obviously don't own their own homes, so they're not somebody who I would market to, or they rent, or they're not in this in the demographics, or don't have the earning power that because our products are not inexpensive. It's an investment. It's not. I'm not selling a 5 rand product. I'm selling a 50,000 rand product on average. So all of those things impact on how do I market. Because yes, there are people in Khayelitsha who could be my target market, but do I want to spend my marketing money on getting to maybe 0.5% of people who live in Khayelitsha who are possibly my target market, or do I want to target to Val de Vie, where possibly the whole of Val de Vie is my target market? So I need to also do those kind of thinking. So who is my target market is a very important question to have the answers for.
And it sounds like such a simple question, but with social media, because we can do all this targeting, it's actually really, really important, and to understand their lifestyle and what the problem is that you are solving. So I want to ask you about, so you are obviously in the social media business school with all the other members. What has your experience been like, and what do you feel that you have gained? What is the benefits for you?
So for me, the benefit has been structure, because you take us from the beginning through the whole process, and yeah. So sometimes when you're starting out, to find that beginning point is always the most difficult, and that's always the one we go round and round and round on and end up doing nothing. So because we can't figure out where to begin, we do nothing. So for me, the business school has brought the structure and then the support. So just recently I went back and did module 3 in the full course of how to set up your business manager or business suite, whatever it's called now. They keep changing the names, but basically to go back and go, okay, are all these things in place and correctly done? Because once that's in place, it makes the advertising or placing ads so much easier.
Yeah.
And to have that resource that's always available to go back is great, because when I started the course, which was probably 3 years ago, and where I am now are 2 different places. But sometimes I need to just go back and make sure that I've got all of those boxes ticked. Yes, my pixel is in place. Yes, it is working. Yes, my events are connected correctly to what I'm trying to achieve. Yes, my ad account and my payment source is correct. My audiences, I've collated them properly, because my audience might also have changed, or I've now discovered a new, way of another audience that I can bring in. So it's great to have. And then also the sense of community, just having support and, being able to chat to people, possibly help other people who are in different places in their journeys, maybe help the process go faster because I've already learned that lesson. So I can tell you, listen, rather don't go there, go here, or do this rather than that. So, yeah, so it's really been great to have, excuse me, that sense of community, and also like a resource to just keep going back into, tapping into it, and learning new things. I think
like
it's
that continuous learning.
Yeah, because, so I know you often say to people, you are where you are, and other people are in different places. So if you're still in module 1, that's fine, but I could be in module 10. But it's taken me 3 years to go from 1 to 10. I didn't go from 1 to 10 in the first week that I bought the course. I mean, it's so you just, but it's great to be able to, like, systematically just work through it and say, okay, today I've waxed this. I know how to do this. That's now in place. So now I can go on and do the next step.
Thing.
But I don't want you to say, well, now I can't do anything until I've got to this point. That's not the point. Do you know what I mean? It's about, what do they say? Once you know better, you do better. So, but you got to get, none of us started just to walk or to run. Nobody just came out of the womb and started to run, unless you're an animal in the Kruger Park. But you don't. You have to learn to crawl. You have to fall. You have to stand up. And then you start to walk, and then you walk and fall and walk and fall, and then you start to run, and then you definitely fall, and then and then you get up again, and eventually maybe you're running the mile under 4 minutes or something. I mean, but the point is that it's a process.
It's a
and
process.
Along the process, you keep learning, and you keep, getting new skills and adding them to what you're doing. So,
Absolutely.
I don't want to discourage people, but, you just need to keep going at it. It's a process.
Absolutely. I see social media as another skill, like a communication skill, and something we have to work on continuously. So I just want to read, this is so beautiful, Ray. Lifestyle Awnings help homeowners transform their lifestyle by creating inviting indoor-outdoor spaces. Inspired by the scenery and great climate of our beautiful city, which is, of course, Cape Town, we design long-lasting aluminium structures where memories are made. It's so beautiful how you wrote this to capture that emotion of exactly what that is. Now, why we love your social media is because you really share why you are in business. You're not just in business because it's a business. You are really passionate about that, and that is what we can see. You realize that you don't sell a product, but you sell a feeling, or like memories. You shine the light on the wonderful service that you provide. Like you said, you ask your clients, and that is very important. When we see other people enjoying the services, it's almost like reviews, but obviously on social media, we can have that on images. Those are extremely important. And then you share your small business and family with passion on Instagram. So what tips do you have for for Instagram specifically?
So Instagram is a visual platform. Okay. So your visuals are probably more important than they are on Facebook. For so I actually post the same on Facebook and Instagram just because I just don't have the time or the capacity to change it up. And basically my message is the same. But I always try to use really strong images. And I also, interestingly enough, when you do your images in a different way. So for instance, if I put my image in a circle, that post has a better engagement rate. So because everybody's scrolling through the same thing, and suddenly if there's a different kind of format, it stops them. I mean, hopefully they stay a while, but it's kind of like, well, what's this? It's a diamond shape or but obviously it has to be relevant to the product and showcase your product. Then yeah, so I try not to use too much texting or text on my posts in my actual posts. Yes, I do have some that I do that. I also like to keep some white space around my posts, my grid. It just somehow makes it better. Erica just taught us about the new sizing for Instagram, where you now actually own the page as opposed to the square. Personally, I'm still stuck on the square just because it's so pretty. But now you need to change that, and also use the format that matches your images. So sometimes if you take your image and you put it into like a story, you lose half the image because it crops it in the wrong way, so you need to just be aware of the focus needs to be in focus, if that makes any sense. You can't have, like, for instance, because my awnings are generally like, let's say 6 meters, I don't want to just show you 1 meter of my awning because I'm not showing you then the whole picture. I'm only showing you a small piece. So you have to figure out how to make your images on Instagram scroll stopping,
Absolutely.
and it's so different for each product, and sometimes what worked this week doesn't work next week, and you just got to be, and as you go you learn. For instance, we all love to talk and want to tell as much information about our product, so we think, oh well, let's put it on the picture, but when you're scrolling you can't read that text, and so you're just going past it. So sometimes less is more. Sometimes it's just the image with just a very short caption, like is dit nie mooi nie? Oh, by the way, don't forget to use Afrikaans.
You always say that. Why do you think is that?
Because it's unique to South Africa, and a huge percentage of our market is Afrikaans, but is not serviced in Afrikaans. So if you are Afrikaans speaking and you're scrolling and you go, oh, it's an Afrikaans, that's interessant, because
Very true.
they're not really yet being serviced, in terms of posts and things like that. So Afrikaans is, particularly if you're a local or South African based business. Okay.
Very true.
If you're an international business, then Afrikaans is a little bit more tricky, but don't forget all those expats out there. I mean, there's a huge expat market as well, if your product, again, is a product that appeals to that. So for instance, I think it was Woolies who just ran a really interesting ad into Australia about their chuckles. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And basically they ran an ad into Australia to all the expats to say, why don't you send your mother some chuckles for Easter or for Mother's Day or whatever, through their online.
Through their shop. Okay.
So
very interesting.
Yeah, how clever is that? And it was done in Afrikaans. So if you're
Wow.
sitting in Sydney and you're going, oh, dis interessant, hier's iets oor wars and chuckles. O ja, ek gaan vir my ma iets stuur. Whoops, there they get a sale.
Very true. Yeah. Ray, it was lovely talking to you. I think we got so many golden nuggets. And what I really like about you is, and I mean, you inspire our whole community because you're so open for new things and you're open to try new things. And I think that is such an important skill if you want to survive in this new era, because the future is unknown, and the more we are open to experiment and to try new things, the better for us. I really think it's those people who's open to change that is going to not only survive but thrive. Ray, thank you so much. It was
Pleasure.
lovely chatting to you. And yeah, I think everyone else enjoyed it as well. Thanks so much.
Pleasure. Bye.